Welcome into another edition of The Session with Londa and David. My name is David Austin.
I'm Londa Sherwood Austin. Welcome back.
I'm super happy to be here with you today, honey.
Thank you. I am too. I slept like the dead last night.
You sure did.
Yes.
And here's what she means by that. She didn't stir at all, and I was already out of the house, had played a full round of disc golf, still at home asleep in a dark bedroom.
I woke up at 7:58 in a dead panic because I was supposed to be at the office at 9.
And it's funny because...
And it's hair washing day, so we all know.
I don't know what that means.
That math doesn't
Is that
work.
Ma and Pa wash hair for the kids on Mondays?
No.
Is that what happens?
But every woman listening to me knows exactly what I mean. You have to be in the office in an hour. It's a 20-minute drive. It's hair wash day. The math ain't mathin'.
I guess. I don't know.
There's not time for that.
I wash my hair every single day. That's what's different, I guess, between boys and girls.
Or just long hair and short hair, I think. It's the difference between long hair and short hair.
Okay.
So...
Well, you look delightful. You look lovely as ever.
Thank
and this
you.
whole combo you got cooking, really, really
you.
pretty. And your hair does look delightful.
Yeah.
So yay for hair washing day.
And not to get off on this, but here we are getting out in the weeds. The texture of my hair, and if you're sick of hearing me talk about menopause, just get off it right now because this is where I'm going. But if you love it, here we go. The texture of my hair has changed dramatically in menopause.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have like some body underneath that I never had before. So, and then you couple that with this spectacular haircut from my stylist, and I don't know if anyone else likes it, but I'm loving it. So
I think
fun.
it's delightful.
It's super fun.
So this weekend I was having a conversation with a few of the people that listen to our show regularly, right?
Okay.
And they were describing to one of the people in our conversation what our program is about. And one of our fans said, they talk about the 3 things that are most important to them: restaurants, real estate, and retail. And then another one of them said, but they talk about a lot more than just that. It was funny to look at.
Yeah.
Because that's something you've been talking to me about, We do talk a lot about restaurants, real estate, and retail because those are things we're really interested in.
Well, yeah, and we're in sales.
Right.
And we both grew up in restaurants.
That's right.
And being in sales, we're, always examining the sales process everywhere we go. And then, of course, real estate's our bread and butter. It's how we pay our bills.
Right.
Primarily. So.
I thought it was a very interesting conversation because they were telling each other about the dynamic topics that we talk about rather than me trying to explain it. They were explaining it to a third party who'd never listened to it. So I thought that was pretty cool.
It is. It's really fun. I'm really touched that anyone listens and that they're interested in what we have to say. It's wow.
Yeah. And here's a good thing. Talk about journalistic integrity, right? One of the guys said, hey, I know I've been texting you a lot of restaurant ideas, but I've realized if I tell you the restaurants I want you to go to, it's no longer the restaurant review nobody asked for. So I got to stop sending you restaurants because I want the one nobody asked for.
Oh, that's funny.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
That's so fun.
Love it. Love it. We appreciate every single person who listens to us talk.
Yeah. And, as I was told by another listener in a separate conversation this week, every time I listen to you guys, it's like I'm hanging out with you at home talking.
Aww.
And I think that's true. I think this is how we communicate regularly every single day.
Yeah. I think for sure.
It's super fun. I don't mean to be self-indulgent and talk about us and the program, so I apologize. Okay.
Let me just apologize right up front. It's allergy season where we live.
It's allergy season.
Hey!
Loop-de-loop.
Clickety-clack.
Allergy season around the clock.
Everything's covered in pollen.
And I'm going to sneeze right now.
So I'm a little congested. Okay, big news. Big news this morning. And I know you're dying to talk about it. And this is a little segment I like to call, David, Make It Make Sense.
Okay, so big announcement Monday morning, embargoed until 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Rocket Mortgage has announced that they have come to terms to purchase in a stock deal Mr. Cooper. Mr. Cooper previously was the largest loan servicer in the nation.
And loan servicer means?
They service loans, meaning if you pay your mortgage, you may pay to Mr. Cooper every month. Okay. The big servicers years ago used to be Countrywide and Bank of America. Well, now Mr. Cooper's kind of the big guy.
Okay.
And Rocket Mortgage has announced that they're going to do, what is it, a $9.4 billion all stock buyout of Mr. Cooper.
Okay.
And they'll service something like 2.1 trillion in loan volume. 2.1 trillion in loan volume.
That seems like a lot, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of business. And here's that we've already heard some chatter since the announcement early this morning. People are talking about, well, what's this really going to mean for mortgages? Well, let me tell you.
Oh, I'm so glad that you said that, because I have the same question. I don't understand any of it, so I'm glad we're getting into it.
Well, this combined company of Rocket Mortgage or Rocket Enterprises, right, and Mr. Cooper is going to represent 1 in every 6 home mortgages. So if you know 6 homeowners, 1 of them will have a loan serviced by this new company.
So is that a monopoly?
No, because they don't have all of the goods. They don't control.
It's not enough to be considered a monopoly.
Correct. They don't control the
It seems like a
production
lot,
and the distribution of the product.
It seems like an unhealthy amount.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because consolidation in the real estate industry specifically has been big talk.
What do you mean by consolidation?
Companies coming together and making bigger companies. Rocket Mortgage wanted to be the press button done mortgage company in America. And
sure.
They were the first mortgage company to have same day certainty, which meant if you put in all the right information, you could get a yes on day one with a fully automated process.
I see. I can just as a little side note, as a realtor, being on the other side of a deal, like I had a couple of transactions where the buyer, I represented the seller, the buyer had their loan through Rocket Mortgage. Mm-hmm. It was not a good thing. It was not smooth.
Sure.
It was terrible. They had I learned. I'm just going to be really honest.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I learned to always be suspicious of a pre-approval letter from Rocket Mortgage.
Well, and that's because you learned that when they were the only people with proprietary software to give you same-day certainty. And there were a lot of bumps in the road. But it wasn't really
certain. We ended up having a lot of problems.
That's exactly right.
With the loan, and it was really challenging to get the deal done. And as you know, I pride myself on getting the deal done.
Sure. And
so
now,
they made it more challenging.
Flash forward several years, right? Now, every mortgage platform offers that kind of technology because COVID created a world where we needed to be able to not meet face-to-face with people, but still get them loans because people were still buying houses. So everyone had to innovate and come up with that. So what Rocket has done since is tried to create other platforms so that they can stand out. Like they have a product called Rocket Money, and what Rocket Money does is it helps you with your subscriptions. And if you subscribe to the newspaper in Lafayette, Louisiana, and you don't read it anymore because you're no longer there, but they're charging you $23 a month for a monthly subscription, that platform can stop that for you. So they're trying to diversify a little bit so they can have larger market share. Well, what they did a few weeks ago was they announced that they bought Redfin for like $1.7 billion.
Where's Rocket Mortgage getting all this money?
Well, they're in Detroit, and they're a big mortgage company, right? So
but who's that money?
So what they're trying to do is have a larger footprint by now owning the means to a real estate business, Redfin, and owning the means to not only mortgage originations, also now servicing. And so their little service portfolio has just grown dramatically because they took over the largest servicer. So now they're going to be one of the largest lenders in America. Well, here's what that's going to do. Go ahead.
What's that word?
Synergy?
No, when it's bad.
I don't know. You tell me.
I can't think of it.
Well, if they are,
it just seems like if you, I don't know why it feels a little shady to me. Is it not? Like,
well, some people
or is it just really smart?
Some people would say David Austin diversifying and getting his real estate license while he's a lender seems shady. It's exactly the same thing on a much larger scale, though, right? They want to have a larger footprint. They can't compete the way they want to without dramatically growing their servicing arm. So there are a couple ways to grow. You can grow in a grassroots way where you go out, you see more people, and you make more deals. That's one way to grow. Another way to grow is to acquire businesses. Because if you acquire successful businesses that are also outgrowing, now you've grown exponentially. And that's kind of what they're doing here. But then you throw in the real estate piece. Now they've got loan origination, loan servicing, and real estate all in one. They're saying it's going to be a one-stop shop. Right?
Okay.
And that's interesting. Here's what's going to happen, and I'm excited about this.
Okay. Well, have we already talked about what that means for the consumer? Because it seems like...
Oh, that's what I'm talking about, right?
All right.
I'm
that's
launching into
going.
it as
Here
we
we go.
speak. Yeah.
There we go.
So what they're saying is it's going to create lower prices because they'll control more of the marketplace. What's really going to happen is their competitors are going to have to sharpen their pencils, which will lower prices. If the fair market doesn't do it, now the actual business is going to have to do it because we don't want someone to get an unfair advantage now that they have so many loans that they're servicing. And here's why that's important. If you've been brokering to Rocket Mortgage, I don't know if that's so great for your business because they have a retail division. And now that they're going to service all these loans that Mr. Cooper had, they're going to be the first point of contact for your customers. So mid-level mortgage originators are now going to have less bites at the apple. But their argument is it's going to create lower rates, and that's great. The reason I am excited about this is because my wholesale partner, which is United Wholesale Mortgage, I broker loans to them, they are in a rivalry, like let's fight with Rocket Mortgage. So I suspect when we go to United Wholesale Mortgage this week...
to Success Track.
Yep. Matt Ishbia will have a whole new line of stuff that they're going to roll out to say, ha-ha, not so fast, and things are going to get a little less expensive for the consumer as a result.
And that's what I was trying to get at. So what does it mean for the average consumer? That's kind of where I was going, and I think you just said it.
You'll see lenders start to sharpen their pencils because they're...
What does that mean when you say sharpen their pencils?
Well, you can kind of fudge a little bit with your numbers when there's not a lot of competition, right? When you're in your own space, you can kind of sort of throw it out there. The old term sharpen your pencil means I need your numbers to look a little bit better than that, or I'm going to go somewhere else. So lenders are going to sharpen their pencils, so to speak.
Is that just like getting more creative and more...
yes, but I think they're going to make the price of a loan less because they want to compete with someone who's saying out loud right now, our loans are going to be cheaper because of this merger.
Okay, now it finally makes sense.
So that's how that competition will get the market moving.
Right. See, this is the advantage to anyone who listens to this podcast. My ignorance is your advantage because I got to ask a lot of questions to get things to make sense to me. So hopefully that helps other people too. But
now, for conspiracy theorists...
Oh, here we go.
This is going to be horrible because, oh no, now the mothership controls all our mortgages. They could do anything they want now. Well, it's 1 in 6 mortgages. It's not 4 out of 6 mortgages.
It's still 1 in 6 feels like a lot.
It is a lot. It is a lot. And thankfully, Rocket Mortgage is a Detroit-based company, not a Chinese company.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I guess, yeah.
That we could talk about conspiracy theories all week long, but I think this is going to be exciting information for the marketplace because now we have something new to talk about. We're not just talking about interest rates being higher than they were over the last 5 years. Now we're talking about competition and what's it going to mean and what's going to happen. And I think we can expect to see lenders everywhere talking about how they are going to improve their servicing divisions. Mm-hmm. You know, at one point, servicing loans was not at all profitable. So every lender, every correspondent lender that I can think of wanted to get servicing out the door because it wasn't profitable. Let's sell that and get it off the books.
To Mr. Cooper.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And now we have a giant merger happening because of that. So I expect to see lenders doing a little bit more in-house servicing and trying to wrest some of that power away from the new giant Rocket Mortgage, because people in the mortgage industry do not like giant motherships coming for them. So when they called it Rocket Mortgage, it was kind of funny because you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm excited to see what's going to come of this. I don't have real-time pricing because this show happens whenever you listen to it, not when we record it.
Right.
So I don't want to talk about what's happening on the mortgage market as we record.
Right.
Because as soon as we stop recording, the market can change. And that's an interesting fact about mortgage-backed securities. They are traded just like everything else. So what happens today may not be what happens tomorrow, and it's certainly not what happened Friday.
But David, more importantly, what does it mean for egg prices?
Well, that's interesting that you talk about that, right? Because
no, but really,
I haven't seen on the news any talk about this merger yet. But tomorrow, which will be Tuesday as we record this on Monday morning, this will be the lead story, I think, on Tuesday. Yeah. And I can't wait to see how it's interpreted by the mainstream media. I'm excited about it. Anytime we are talking about the industry that you and I are a part of, mortgage and real estate, I'm excited because it's fun for me. And the more people are talking about it, the more people are interested in it. The more people are interested in it, the more people we can help.
And our industry is changing so much. I mean, since the lawsuit with National Association of Realtors and all that stuff, it has been nothing but constant change.
Right.
And that's kind of exciting, you know, for me, because I look at, okay, if we're going this direction now, how do we pivot in our business and we've got these new forms and okay, how do we pivot to make those work best for us?
Right.
And so there really has been just nothing but constant change in the last couple of years in our industry. I mean, there hasn't been there really prior to that was not a lot going on for a few years. It was just pretty steady as she goes for about 6 years. This last 2, it's been a lot of change. But it doesn't, I think the average consumer doesn't really see or understand or care to. If they still just, if they have to buy or sell, they buy or sell, right? The average consumer doesn't think about all these details that we're talking about, you know?
Sure.
So if you have a need, you have a need.
And that's the thing. We've talked on this program about that real estate class that we held about 2 years ago now, and we were flown in to do our about an hour and a half long seminar, and one of the people in the audience raised his hand and said, hey, let me ask, how do we convince our customers that now's the right time to buy? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
And what did we say at the exact same time? You don't.
Yeah.
Your customer needs to have a need.
You're talking to the wrong person.
If you're trying to sell the need, you're missing the boat.
Yeah.
Solve the problem. That's what you need to do in sales. Solve the problem, and don't try to create need. Yeah. Creating need is kind of yucky to me. I don't know.
And it's interesting since I've been in sales for so long now. It's interesting to see the what would you call it? Transformation of the sales process. You know, when I first started in sales, it was all hard press, full court press.
Yeah.
And we asked questions designed to really kind of push people into the close, right? And today, And part of it is that sales has changed, and part of it is that I've changed, right?
Yes.
I reached a point in my life where I was like, why am I doing this? I feel like, listen, if they want to get there, they want to get, like, I still ask a lot of questions,
Sure.
but I don't do the full court press. I ask closing questions, of course, but it's more like to help the person in front of me clarify for themselves in their own brain, is this the right time to pull the trigger? Or is it not? And it's really much less about asking the right questions so that you can psychologically trick them into saying yes. Do you remember when sales training was like that?
I do, and I remember saying no to that. I remember saying, nope, that's not me. I'm not doing that.
I've always been very script based, and so whatever script the company gave me is what I used, and I usually made it better, right? And so those scripts were written for that, the full court press, I mean, I need to talk to my spouse, right? Well, I need to talk to my spouse. Is it that you really need to talk to your spouse, or is it that there were scripts to overcome that objection and get them to say yes.
Right.
Today, if somebody says, first, let's be real. People don't say to me, I need to talk to my spouse, because I try to have the decision makers in front of me.
Right.
I don't really do that where they're not both there. But let's say it does happen. And, I'm more than happy to give them that space. I don't know what I'm saying, but
No. Here's what's different, and you're different.
Yeah, I'm more relaxed.
Sales techniques aren't necessarily different the way they're trained. People are trained, but you're in a different league of sales now. You've grown into a person who understands it's better to help someone achieve their goal than for you to achieve your goal.
Sure.
You've changed, right?
Yeah.
When you and I first got together and we would talk about sales, and I would say things like, I for sure need to believe in what I'm selling to sell it. You once said to me, well, I don't. Mm-mm. And you do. That's how you've changed. You do.
Yeah.
You need for people to
I don't have to believe in it, but I need the client to believe in it. And here's what I mean by that. I've sold houses that I don't believe in this house. I'm not a fan. But asking enough questions, I think that's the whole thing, is helping my client get clarity. Once somebody has answered all the questions in their head, now they can make a clear decision.
Right.
So helping them get clarity and sift through all of the questions they have in their head so that they can come to a decision is definitely my style, right? And I may do that by putting all the choices out in front of them and saying, here's your options. Now, what do we think about this one? We'll get clarity on this. We'll get clarity on that. We'll get clarity. That's why I always say ask more and better questions.
Yes.
And then sometimes a client, and because I've, like I said, I've sold houses that no way. But
for you,
for me,
right.
But if the client has clarity on it and this is absolutely what they want, then great. I don't know. Yeah, it's I don't know. I've always said, and I've always taught other realtors, one deal doesn't make you and one deal doesn't break you. And always keep your finances in a place where that is true.
Right. And that's important, right? If you've got sales breath, people can smell it a mile away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I personally don't have a dog in the fight. If you want something, I'll help you do it. If you have a problem, I'll help you solve it.
Right.
You know what happens when you help people solve problems? Money comes.
Right.
That's the truth.
And here's a great example of that. We met a guy who works at Corwin Ford in Pasco, Washington.
That's right.
His name is Jose. And he was recommended to me. You called a friend of ours
Yep.
and said, hey, Londa's going to buy a new car. who do you think, this person used to work at Corwin Ford in the finance department, I think. And you said, you know the people over there, who do you think would be a good match for her? And she said to you, oh, go to Jose.
Jose Larios at Corwin Ford. Great guy.
So we went in, and I'm very skeptical because I am a female and I am used to being treated a certain way by salespeople, male salespeople, who it's very much a pat on the head if you're buying a car, right?
Right.
Very much, oh, you sweet thing, let me show you the mirror. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like there's just a thing there. And so I was ready for that. We go in, and Jose asked great questions, listened really carefully to me, pivoted what he was showing me based on the questions. We're looking at his computer, on his computer, to narrow down what they have available on the lot, right? So we're not walking around the lot. And never, not once, talked down to me, never, not once talked at me.
Right.
Just, it was the most spectacular. There was not, the old used car salesman,
Sure.
or car salesman, hard press.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a myth, I guess, or a thing that we talk about as it's a thing, right?
Yeah, when people say, I hate used car salesmen.
Right.
I love used car salesmen because they're finding a way to solve your problem and make money at the same time.
But when we talk about the full court press, that's kind of been associated with them, right?
Sure.
So this was not that.
Right.
This was not that experience. This was exactly the kind of experience that I want. So much so that when you recently wanted to get a new car, there was no question where you were going because
Right.
I had such a good experience. He was so good to me. You went and looked for him by name.
Well, and here's the thing. While we were there, he was doing a needs analysis on his customer, who was you, while also doing a needs analysis on his future customer, who was me.
He was smart.
And when he was showing Londa vehicles, he'd say, now, David, I need you to understand this is for Londa, not for you. And I know this level of trim package is not acceptable to you. So keep that in mind. I don't want you to dive bomb this if she likes it, which was very smart of him to do because he fully understood what my objections would be if you turned to me and said, what do you think?
Right. And you and I, too, I mean, I don't know. The guy was just so smart because he just played it really well. He just did it such a great job. So if you need a car, there you go. There's a recommendation.
Well, and one of my buddies, Candido Martinez, I found out also works at Ford now.
Right.
And he's
so
selling
one of them,
at Ford.
one or the other is going to be working.
So if you can't get Jose, get Candido. They're different personality types. Candido, larger than life, funny, former Dominican pro baseball player. So he's hilarious.
Okay.
I love the guy.
If you want a serious, quiet, peaceful process, Jose Larios.
And if you want to laugh out loud with a former pro baseball player, Candido.
There you go. I mean, come on.
So we've got you covered at Corwin Ford. And this is the auto purchase review that nobody asked for.
Yeah.
Because they really treated us beautifully both times we were there.
Yeah.
And when I bought my new car 2 weeks ago, I called Jose. And I said, Jose, I want to come to the dealership. I've got to get a new car. And he said, I remember exactly what you're looking for, and I'll have it waiting for you. And I got there, and that was the car I bought.
Wow.
He had it waiting for me. It was gassed up and ready for me to test drive. And he sat down and he said, David, I remember everything we talked about last time you were here. I'd like you to drive this car, come back, and then we'll talk. And I said, okay.
Talk about solving a problem, making it a smooth process.
That's exactly right. And it's because he took the time to do a full needs analysis.
Right.
And you may say, well, that sounds crazy. It's just a car. No. He got to know our personality types so he could know how to communicate with us effectively.
Yeah.
And he said to me when we were there, hey, David, I know you don't like sitting at the dealership, so the next car you guys buy from me, we'll bring it to your office so you don't have to sit here, and I'll just do the paperwork separately. How's that sound? And I said, That sounds great. So he absolutely knew how to form us, which is something we've talked about on the program, and then how to assess our needs fully, and then how to recommend the solution. He diagnosed and prescribed.
I hope that, I hope that my clients feel that way about my service.
And I think they do, because
we get good reviews when they fill them out. Listen,
right.
If somebody requests a review, please fill it out. Please.
I think I still need to do one for Jose.
Tell me that I've done a great job. Text me how wonderful it is. But when I send you the review, please fill it out. Speaking of review, do we have a restaurant review that nobody asked for? Have we been anywhere?
The only restaurant that we've been to in the last couple of weeks was Red Robin. And
we went to Zips.
Oh, we did?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't go
Ada
there.
And I went to Ice Harbor.
Well, Ada should get on the mic and do the restaurant review nobody asked for, because I didn't go there.
Yeah, I mean, it was
pizza and beer.
Great. It was great. Ice Harbor? No, it was a club sandwich and a chicken Caesar salad, and it was great.
Okay. Yep.
But that's about all I have to say about it. Food was good.
We went to Red Robin, and I got to tell you, that's the fanciest looking Burger King I've ever been to. I mean, that Burger King is something else. And you got people standing in the lobby. Meanwhile, the bar is fully empty. So we walked right in, sat down at the bar. It's still Burger King, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
So they have bottomless fries, which, okay, they bring you extra fries. Yay.
Yeah. Woo.
Yeah.
You know where we get the best service? At home.
Yeah, let me tell you, that lady that brings me a steak at home, super hot.
We did splurge last night, though. We had burgers at home, burgers and, wait for it, tots.
That's right.
Which we don't, that's very unusual for us.
Londa bought a 1 pound bag of organic tater tots.
It wasn't even 1 pound.
It said 16 ounces. Isn't that a pound? It said 16 ounces on it.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
So like a whole potato, one potato.
Literally. Yeah. It was tasty and fun.
Yeah.
And we felt like we were going crazy. We felt like the guardrails came off.
And
we were just
wild.
Yeah. That's right. That's how it felt.
Delish. They're organic too. So
That's
it made
right.
me feel a little
tots.
a little better about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. We air fried them too. So there you go. There's that. So the restaurant review nobody asked for. Red Robin, just a Burger King. Sit in the bar because you can skip all the kids in the lobby. Sit in the bar. If you're going there, have a burger, sit in the bar. You'll sit right down, and it's, okay.
Yep.
There you go. I don't know. Here's my complaint. I don't know why they need 7 takeout lanes. COVID's over, people. People want to park there.
Oh, yeah, but I think people are still doing that. Like more and more.
I pulled up to that place, and there were no cars parked there at any time.
Okay, but they come and they go. It's pickup orders, right? It's pickup. People have really it's a generational thing.
Maybe
by the way.
dial it down to 2. You don't need 7.
Maybe they do. You don't know.
I do know because no one was in any of them.
But they're in and out, so
right.
You don't know.
So you need 2 for the in and out people. You don't need to take up your prime parking
I'd have
spaces.
to look at
now
their
that
data.
There's not a plague, pestilence isn't hanging out in the parking lot.
Listen,
there.
I'll defend them a little because I would have to look at their data as to how many pickup orders they get to know if they need all those.
Well, let me tell you something. If you want Burger King, go through the drive-thru. Don't sit at the Red Robin and have them bring it to you because it's the same food. Little secret. You might pay a little less at Burger King for the same food.
I gotcha.
Flame broiled. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
It tastes identical.
It does taste very similar. I'll give you that. And it's all and further, just go to Costco and get that sleeve of burgers because I think that's where they got it.
Yeah.
Like that's what it's not like
that sleeve of burgers is now $18.99 for 15 burgers, but it's sure good.
Every single time I eat out, and I don't mean to, poop on restaurants here, but every single time I eat out, I think, why did I do this?
Well, here's what I think.
Why did I do this? I could do this at home. And recently I've thought I need to learn how to make sushi because it's like one of the things I don't know and I don't make Chinese food very well either. So I'm like, I could just up my game a little, and then I would never have to go out again.
Yeah. The reason I like to go out is to see people. I go out for the service, not for the food.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I've said this on the program.
But man, when that bill comes, it's just such a gut punch.
Well, I guess, but I don't think about it. Maybe that's privilege. I don't know.
Sure it is.
I don't really, the mark of success, I think, is not caring about your food bill when you go to a restaurant.
Well, and I would say, yes, that is one of the privileges. And also, I always say healthcare is a privilege of the wealthy. Healthcare in America is a privilege of the wealthy. Not caring about the bill at a restaurant is a privilege of the wealthy.
Well, I don't think about it, and I like to not look at it. And I appreciate what you're saying.
I saw that.
No, I did that because I'm trying to get off the show. We're 35 minutes in. I'm trying to transition out of the conversation.
That was dismissive. Did you just dismiss me? We need to get off this because we're about to fight.
Bob just dropped something in his wood shop when you said that, I'm
Did
sure.
he?
He's laughing out loud and dropped something.
Aww.
He loves it when you make little zingers. He loves it.
Oh, okay.
He loves the zingers.
Well, I almost came across the table on that one.
And he said to me the other day, I said on our program that, Bob, if you're in your wood shop, you don't need to wear the headphones. The first thing he said to me when I saw him after he listened to that show is, I do need to wear the headphones, David, because I won't be able to hear it over the sound of the saws.
Oh, there you go.
So
well, yeah, our podcast on people, not wearing headphones in public and in the sauna, and I'll be damned if we weren't in the sauna last night and had to listen to somebody's music again.
And I'm willing to bet that there's a podcast somewhere that somebody's doing about those two yahoos that talk the entire time in the sauna.
Okay.
And that's us, because we are talking full voice. I don't know why people treat it like it's an elevator. Furthermore, why are people dead silent in the elevator? What are they doing? It's creepy. You're a person. Talk like you're alive. You know what I mean? But I'm sure there's somebody going, I was in the sauna the other day, and these damn son of bitches couldn't keep their mouths shut.
The prospector was in the sauna. Thank you for being here today. Like and subscribe. I don't know what that means.
For Londa, Joanne Sherwood Austin, the prettiest girl in the world. And I mean it. You look super great today, by the way.
Thank you.
I'm not going to talk about your outfit anymore because you don't want me to, but you look awesome.
Thank you.
And I love it. For Londa, Joanne Sherwood Austin, I'm David Austin, and this has been The Session with Londa and David. We'll see you next week.